This is a quick one. Are you trying to decide which homeschool curriculum to use for your child? Look no further. Well, actually, you can and you should look further because all children are different. And as my own children, my younger son asked, what are they doing? And is university too high a grade for us? Meaning for him and his siblings and the challenges they have, which I did tell him, yes, it is. It is too high a grade for you. So, of course, if your child is neurotypical or if they have no learning disorder, and if they do academically, they do well academically, so you think, and you also want to be Christian as well. But the last part will work for everybody, atheists included. But let me begin again from the beginning, just to show that the jump is not that high. So the general consensus is that the American curriculum, which is what one of my children's occupational therapists said, is more difficult. So the same grade level is more difficult if you're doing the American curriculum. When you're doing British, Cambridge, it's even more difficult. So that's generally what they've been saying. And I've been hearing in all the groups the same thing my children have proven to me. So I will say to you, if you want your children to have a head start for first year, go to Cambridge. Do the Cambridge curriculum. We did it on our own. I started first with the Christian American curriculum, and then around age 13, we then changed around grade 8, year 8, year 9, year 8. We then moved on to Cambridge. I set up all their exams, I set up tests, I set up quizzes for them. I used the textbooks, and we went on. Some parents worry about the difference in curriculum, but we had no difference whatsoever. We had no difficulties whatsoever going from an American curriculum to British. And then, as you know, IGCSE, aka O levels, was the first exam they ever did, and then AS levels. That is a mouthful, and it's not at all what I had planned to say when I was thinking about this, but I will just go with this flow. So that's the thing. I chose Cambridge because the Zimbabweans I had met when I was in university were better thinkers than people like me were, who did the South African curriculum. More analytical, more I need to go out there and work, more determined, more motivated, more ambitious. And I don't mean ambitious to be rich without working, but ambitious in that I need to provide. I need to take care of myself. I need to take care of my people, as in my family, my relatives. I need to stand on my own, and I need to do it as soon as possible with all the skills I have. So it's hot, it's itchy, my nose is sweaty. I'm sweaty. It's not itchy, I'm itchy. Okay, so yeah, that's why I chose Cambridge, because they seemed to think better, reason better academically. I thought, well, there is no high school curriculum that goes up to grade 12 back then that was American. Also, there were rumors, which now have become true, that you couldn't, we only had two streams. Well, there were three: South African, British, or American. But the American, they were now phasing it out of many universities. So not all universities take an American high school diploma per se, and not the way that they were telling us to do it, which was do the GED plus SAT together and then apply to university in America, an American university, and get admission, and then use that to say, look, my child does qualify to go to an American university, therefore convert their American homeschool diploma into a high school diploma, into a South African matric equivalent. But that is, they're making it harder and harder. So that is the other reason why I didn't want to then use the American. One, I don't know anyone who had actually done an American curriculum, whereas I'd met Zimbabweans who had done O levels and A levels. So that's why I did it. And it is true what they say about the head start. My son, he finished in one day this whole week's work. And while he was there, so they arrived, the lecturer explained what they must do on the computers, and then she left. People were confused, so they came to my son, the introvert, to come and ask him, how in the world are you so far ahead? We don't even know how to sign in. This is another thing that I have to bring up, because we Adventist Christians like to bring up the what if. But what about this? You're holding your children back in this way, aren't you? So someone in a group said, but if they're not going to school, then they're not going to the computer lab. I've got a computer at home. So they don't need a computer lab, they just need a computer. So I told him they are using the computer. They use computers. We download schoolwork on the computer. They know how to use the computer. And one of the things we did in the Cambridge curriculum was some ITC, which was the information technology, whatever, but it's linked to computers. So they did do that as well. And then my son's computer science also deals with things you would do on the computer and the different programs, the Javas, the Pythons, and the whatever else's. So yes, he has finished in one day this whole week's work. So he got there today and he had nothing to do. And the lecturer was quite impressed that you finished the whole week's work in one day. My daughter did tell us via video call yesterday that she was going through their, I think it's the business textbook, and she was saying, this is stuff I did in IGCSE levels and in AS levels, aka O levels and A levels. This is stuff we've already done. And she went to lectures today for the first one, and the teacher was asking questions, and so she answered. And the lecturer says, yeah, okay, that's quite far ahead in the curriculum. That goes very deep. So that is the evidence. Cambridge really does, unless your child doesn't study it, of course, but doing Cambridge or Pearson, both British, if your child does those, first year should be quite easy for them. You have prepared them for first year university, any tertiary education, private or public. So that's my little tip for you. If you're not sure what high school curriculum to choose for your children, do Cambridge. I just bought the textbooks, I bought the teacher's manuals, I bought the study guides, and we studied, and here we are. So it's easy. Okay, it's easy for people like me, and therefore it should be easy for people like you. I did not study education. I did not have a bachelor's in any kind of education. My bachelor's and my honors are in psychology. But here we are. If you're in the valley of decision, make this choice. Do Cambridge. You will not be mad at yourself. You will not regret it. Unless your child has problems, but then you should have picked them up before they get to IGCSE anyway, and then you can shift. There are parents who have shifted from Cambridge down to the, not down, but yeah, down to the American. Yeah, so you can do that still. Just because you do Cambridge one year doesn't mean you have to continue doing Cambridge the next year. That is the joy of the flexibility of homeschooling and of you yourself, parent, being the teacher. Thank you for listening. All the best to everyone who is beginning this journey. It's exciting. It really is exciting to watch your children learn, be it your 5-year-old who's just finished being able to read simple sentences, to your children who have texted you to say, this was my first day. I've actually done lectures. I've got homework. I've read my textbook. All of it is exciting. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. And enjoy the close bond you will build with your children. A bond many of us, whose parents sent them to school, never had. Some do have that, even with their parents who didn't homeschool. But it's easier, much easier to be uninvolved if someone else is educating your child than when you are the one then it's all on you. So you definitely can't not pay attention. All the best again. Thank you once again for listening. Bye.